Got the ribs ready in the pan. We cut them into smaller pieces this time just because. Try it a little differently. Now we'll be putting the rub onto the ribs, letting them sit a little bit to get into room temperature, closer to room temperature before we put them on the grill. And next we'll go get the grill ready. We're going to be doing an indirect heat on our Weber. We'll be back. Now we're going to put some of the spices on the ribs. I like to flip them over and get it on both sides. Make sure you cover your ends. Got to get it on the ends and the sides. I always do it in the pan, that way it's easier to scrape up the extras and make sure you get them all packed in real good with the spices. So you can see they've all got a nice coating of the rub. Got all the edges. Next up will be putting them on the grill. And we'll head over there next to get it ready. The temperature outside today is 26, so it's below freezing. We're in Minnesota. Will help to keep the temperature down on the grill. So that's the one nice part. So, alright, here we are. I got my 30-inch Weber. Got the coals set up in a snake pattern. Just did double layer, stack them up there. And on this side, got aluminum foil. That's going to help us to have our indirect heating. So I have the heat on the one side, and I actually made little pans out of the aluminum foil to hold the water. You just fold the edges 4 times, and then fold up the corners, and you've got little water pans. Now, to get it started, I've just got a few coals here. Some leftover ones, and then I'll take my torch and we'll just heat up the coals with the torch until they get going, and once they're hot we'll set them on this side on one end, and then the coals will slowly heat up all the way across, and that's how we're going to go control the temperature and keep it nice and low at about 225 to 275, somewhere in that range. And once we get the grill up to heat, then we can put the ribs on, and we'll flip them after about an hour, and then turn them again after another hour. Seen some different options online about wrapping them in foil for an hour with some different liquids to keep them nice and moist. And then you come back for the last hour and put on some barbecue sauce. So I will be back in a little bit once I got the coals heated up. Alright, We got the torch. Just go underneath here and heat it up. This usually only takes about 3 to 4 minutes to start getting them warm where they'll burn on their own. And then once they start burning, we'll let them get nice and hot before we put them on the grill. Alright, it's been about three minutes now. The coals are all going pretty good. I'll get going a little bit hotter here before I put them on. Mostly because it's pretty cold out here today. So I want to make sure they're burning pretty good to get that heat up. Alright, we got all the coals on the one side. They're starting to flame up a little bit, so we'll let them do that for another minute or two. And we'll put the grate on, put the lid down, open it up full to get it up to the 225, 250, somewhere in there. And then we'll turn the vents down a little bit to get them to keep it from getting too hot. And in theory, this is gonna, which I've done it before, this is gonna slowly burn from this end over to this end. And by the time my 4 to 5 hours of cooking is done, there might be a lot of coals left, it might not be, it just depends on what it needs today based on the temperature. We got the grate on, get this side opened up if we need to. We'll just close that down for now. Anyways, the important part when you're doing this convection type of cooking is you want to make sure that the vent is on the opposite side of where your heat is. That way you get the good circulation going inside here. So I think we're ready to put the lid down and let this thing heat up. These are the temperature gauges that I use on my grill. This one I've just wiped off. I'll be wiping this one off soon. But anytime you smoke you got to clean your equipment. So very easy to just wipe the glass off. I don't even need to wet it with water. That's how easy it is. So I'm going to get this one wiped up and get them ready for the grill. The outside cover says we're at about 225, but typically that's not what the actual grate inside is at. At 120 something, 125, closer to the actual coals, so we got a little ways to go yet to get it warmed up. Just getting over 200, so I'm going to start putting the meat on, get it going here. Alright, it's been a little over an hour. A little over 220. Burning through the coals a little faster today because of how cold it is outside. We need to keep it up a little. So I'll be adding some coals here in a little bit, and I think I'm going to rotate the meat a little bit. Flip this stuff from this side and this side. Rotate it all around one time. But it is starting to look pretty nice. You can see the side that's got a little more heat to it. So that's after about an hour and 15 or 20 minutes. Okay, 4.5. About 4:30 now, so it's been on for about 2.5 hours. It is starting to look really good. We'll move these around again. A little farther from the coals. Temperature is about between 235 and 245. Definitely getting a nice bark on them. We will check back in about another hour. Alright, about another hour and they're just about done. You can see the meat's pulling back a little bit from the tips of the bones. So I'm going to get some barbecue sauce here in a minute. So we'll add a little glaze and then we'll be ready for our last half hour, 45 minutes. Alright, 6:20. Everything got put on about 2 o'clock, so 4.5 hours, and these ribs are done. I'm going to get them off the grill, get them inside, let them set for a little bit, and then we'll eat. Alright, so just cut these open. That looks really good. I'll have a bite in a minute. Apparently they tasted really good. It's pretty much just bones left. But I'm saving some for tomorrow because they're yummy.